Tottenham fans, how are you feeling this morning? Another defeat on Saturday, 15th in the Premier League. Surely now in a relegation battle. So when things aren't going quite to plan, you need your captain to step up and deliver. But instead, Cristian Romero was sent off again, second time this season, sixth time in his Tottenham career. However, former England captain Stuart Pearce, who was commentating on the game at Old Trafford for talkSPORT, claimed it was the wrong decision. Take a listen.
I've had another look at this replay again. Yes, he's gone in with aggression. I understand that. But I'll tell you what, his foot is side on. He could have got hurt as much as Casemiro in that challenge, by the way. He's won the ball first. And where do you go with your follow-through from there? You can't just stop your foot stone dead after you've played the ball. I think it's a tough one, personally, Sam.
Well, you were there, Coisty.
Yeah.
Stuart thinks it was a tough decision and maybe Romero was hard done by. Do you think it was a certain red card or could there be something in Stuart's argument?
I see Stuart's argument and understand Stuart's argument, but not for me. Straight red. See if it had been a one-off, Jeff, right? And the first time he'd done it, there might have been a wee element of doubt in my own mind. But watching him, watch the way he plays the game, and he can play, by the way, this is the most annoying thing, he can play. I think he absolutely, without doubt in my mind, knows exactly what he's doing. Mm-hmm. And I think he can actually pull out. He can't pull out the tackle. He's got to go and attempt to win the tackle. But there's a way of I think there's a way of taking the ball without falling through and going right on it was Casemiro's ankle, wasn't it? It was Casemiro. I think there's a way of doing it. And it's funny because, as I said to you, Pearce's and Pearce has made more tackles than I'll ever have made and will make. Pearce is the first of the ex-pros that I've spoke to that thinks he might have been harshly done by. I was doing the game and I got a couple of texts immediately after it saying it was a straight red from boys that are, whose opinions I really respect. I just think he knows what he's doing, Jeff. I think it's a straight red. I think he could have broke his ankle, and that's just my opinion on it, mate.
I'm glad you got my text anyway, Coisty. Were you surprised that Thomas Frank pretty much immediately came out and said he will continue to be my captain?
No, because he's preempting a question that was going to get fired at him immediately. And I think it's a heck of a decision to strip somebody of a captaincy, you know.
But you've got to lead by example, haven't you?
Of course you have. Absolutely. That is of paramount importance. And what I said was during the commentary, and I'll bet it didn't happen, back in the day, there'd have been 5 or 6 storming into that dressing room to have a word with him, right? I'm not sure there's any Tottenham players would have been firing into that dressing room to dig him up and pull him up, because he let everybody down, mate. I don't care what anybody says. He let his teammates down. It's hard enough going to Old Trafford, when they're on a bit of form. It's hard enough going to Old Trafford with 11 men, never mind 10 men. I just thought it was a red card. I thought he let his teammates down. He let the travelling Tottenham support down. Let his manager down, who needs a break. Incidentally, when he should have been trying to do everything after his outburst during the week, he should have been trying to do everything correctly and by the book. Yeah, no, but in answer to your question, it's just another headache that Thomas Frank needed, like a hole in the head. And if I'm in his shoes, I'm sitting down, I'm having a good 15, 20 minutes this morning, or whenever it was yesterday morning, with Cristian Romero. I'm explaining to him how unacceptable that is, and he's meant to be leading by example. And I wouldn't have taken the captaincy off him at this moment in time. I wouldn't have.
We haven't talked much about Spurs this morning, but I'd say obviously, the papers are full of stuff at the moment to say that Thomas Frank's record is now worse than Ange Postecoglou of last season. They've not won in the league since December.
Incredible. 6
points between themselves and West Ham, but 4 games ago that gap was 13. Do you feel a defeat at home to Newcastle this week would be the end of Thomas Frank?
I think it could be. I don't think it will be, but I think it could be. Isn't it amazing, Jeff? I mean, you called them, well, I can't remember your exact wording, but it was along the lines of, I'll use the term basket case at this moment in time, right? I mean, there's nothing sums Tottenham up more than the 2-2 draw with Manchester City, Jeff. First half, non-existent, invisible. Second half, played like one of the best teams you've seen in years. And there was some performances up at the Etihad I thought they were terrific. I thought they were magic in the opening game of the season, that game against PSG. But the lack of any level of consistency, mate, is absolutely unacceptable. It really, really is. Now, there has to be a time where they have to say, right, well, it can't just be the coach. It can't be. You look at the coaches, they've had some brilliant coaches, whether you go back to Pochettino, Conte, Mourinho. We could sit here for days talking about previous Tottenham coaches that haven't been able to get things 100% right. They'll go back to Pochettino and said he was the nearest, and he probably has been the nearest. But you can't keep sacking managers just for you've got to have a look at the whole thing. I mean, there's something wrong within the club. Whether it's recruitment, you don't know what it is, Jeff, but there's something wrong within the club.
Yeah. Steve from Suffolk says Romero needs to go at a time when we need a captain to lead us and galvanise us. To quieten the noise, he makes it louder. He's a liability on and off the pitch, and he's even dividing our fan base. Now he's suspended for crucial games. Sell him. He's a rotten apple. I think he will be away in the summer. I think he'll be away to Spain somewhere in the summer.
I
think it would be best probably for both parties to be truthful. Because he can play, but I think, as Steve says there, he's a liability at the moment.